Ladies and gentlemen, today's episode is very angelic. Maybe I should have put on some wings or some white clothing because we've got the amazing, incredible Angeloh. He's a songwriter, he's a singer, he's amazingly intelligent, he's a graphic designer. Most people don't know that part about him. He's essentially a multi-potentialite and he's killing it. No, he's healing it. Not killing it. He's healing it. He's killing the divas because it's angelic, right? And he's doing amazing work. When we're back, I'll tell you a bit more about him and then we'll dive into the heart of the very juicy conversation. Already.
All right.
See you guys after this.
That can be celebrated, the amazing, the author, the singer, the mentor. Please put your hand together for 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒 as he comes to share with us how he all start.
I'm just going to share a couple of stories. So please quickly pick up your phones, go to Instagram. Are you on Instagram already? All right, just go to this place and click it, the plus either, then slide. You're going to see stories. Some people still didn't get it.
But we know say God now, Papa, and we have the right genes in us.
Modupe, you are very rude.
You see somebody that knows something about girl, that's when they will now be put. Take your picture and go. It's not
So I promise you that everything you touch is fire. Every beat you're on is a banger. Because every word I speak is Rema. Another.
Love is the tango of consonance and dissonance, dancing to the symphonies of life set to be in harmony.
As you just called on strike recently, some young girls are not going back to school the same. Some of them are going back to school pregnant. And now when somebody study anatomy, if you see anatomy, hey!
Good evening, 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒. Good evening, Pastor Toju. I've laughed. I hope I've not thrown my voice away.
So guys, it's great to be here. My name is Damilola Oluwatoyinbo. I'm the creator of the White Paper Movement, White Paper Podcast, White Paper Merch, White Night, all things white, because all things are going to be all right. All right. So today's episode, songwriter, singer, communicator, graphic designer, intelligent guy, cool guy, urban gospel icon, kingdom pop culture, influencer. all shades of amazing, and I'm so happy that you made it today. Thank you so much for the privilege and
Thank
the
you so
honor.
much for having me, Pastor.
Yeah, I'm giving you my hand.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not
I'll
giving my
take
hand
it.
in marriage.
No.
Happily
I'm
married.
just taking the other hand.
Yeah. So let me start by thanking you, and I need to thank you publicly and on behalf of the church. I'm not the chief representative of the church, because people will be like, see this young man, because God is just helping your ministry, now I want to represent the church. No. But I believe I represent an emerging generation of people who are embracing new aspects of what Christ died for, including love songs that do not violate authentic theology. So thank you. That's a major need. For the longest time, people have said, do you want us to dance to we lift our hands in the sanctuary with our wives? Right, when you're about to, get very, yeah. You want to get into the secret place of the most low, under the most high.
Oh, good.
All right.
I can't take it.
It's too much. So thank you for that,
For
being intentional about crafting meaningful, enjoyable, creative, contemporary, because you use themes in the culture. But the message is very pure. The message is very clear. The message is very clean.
Yes.
And it's very much needed because young believers are getting married every weekend. And so thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Thank you so
Now,
much.
I know that when you're sort of like pioneering, so people have gone ahead of you, but I don't think there's anybody who's made it like the bulk of the assignment to say, my next couple of albums is just to resource the body with, qualitative music. You're not compromising on the quality.
No.
So the songwriting, the production, the promotion, the creativity behind it, very, very important.
Thank you.
Now, the reason I'm going all this long route is also to say we see you and we encourage you.
Thank you.
Because when you're pioneering, most of the time, people are like, what is the guy doing? Let's see whether he's going to last. Let's see whether he's going to jump off the bandwagon and go for what is more acceptable. But I believe over the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, we're already seeing the Afrofusion, the gospel Afrofusion being embraced even by people that you might have been like, okay, well, they were a bit more on the conservative side. So you're doing very important work.
Thank you, sir.
So let's start from there. Why
healing.
are you not singing? Jugba, 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 Judy, Judy, Judy. Why are you not doing that? Why did he decide to go this route?
So to be clear, are you saying like why we're not making shake bum bum?
Exactly, in terms of the lyrical content and the obscenities, because I mean those kind of things they sort of like sell in certain markets very quickly.
So my name is Angeloh, as P-Dams has heavily introduced. I make Jesus music and love songs.
I love it.
So the reason I explain that is because the fastest is to just explain what I do and avoid all the plenty arguments that come with it. So I've been a believer for a while. And not a believer because it's a badge, but literally like have the story of, you know, I'm not where I am now does not look anything like where I'm coming from.
Wow. Do you want to tell us where you're coming from?
So
is it from Onekman or Ajanga?
Michael? So I'll just give a brief. My dad was a painter. My dad he's still alive, artist, but then he was a DJ. So that's where like my music foundation comes from. My mom, on the other hand, was a singer and a painter. So like that gives you like a brief of a background, creative family, But fast forward, family broke up. Then they were like, you know, typical. Everybody is pursuing one. There's something in the village pursuing somebody, and so my mom used to have to go to churches all the while for one deliverance program to this one to prayers to that. So growing up, I kind of knew that Jesus or church was the place you went to when you had problems.
Wow.
Then I was the only child, so the TV in the house was mine. So I was watching cartoons, watching documentaries, watching music, watching all stuff on TV. But also, very importantly to say, this was the 90s, so televangelism was heavy at that time. So in the midst of all that, there was at least 2-3 different ministers who were heavy on TV that also pop up as well. And for some reason, I found it fascinating. So, I mean, I was like probably 7 when I read the book of Revelations 4 times by myself.
Really?
You know, like, man. You know, all the scary parts and so, but like I enjoyed the stories. So then growing up, life became hard. My mom became sick, so I had to, she was going in and out of a coma at some point, so I had to start moving around. Long story short, between 1999 to 2020, I lived with 27 different families over the space of 20 years.
Wow.
So there's
27,
yes. So there were those who were loving, there were those who were terrible, there were those who were just trying to figure stuff out. There was a time where I was living with bachelors. There was a time I was living with married families. I've seen families that were together and nice and well. I've seen families that were broken and abusive. So all those experiences in the middle of that, and then there's also me too trying to navigate and find, okay, what in God's name how am I supposed to get through all this noise? And so at that time, remember, like I said, Jesus was the person you went to when there was problems, and that was 20 years of problems. So it only made sense for me to go back to I was always there, but go deeper into that. So, you know, he's the one that was there. When I needed to cry, I'll be in the room crying. Somehow he's there. When I was happy, he was there. When I was bored to death, there was Bible everywhere, scriptures to just read. And I mean, there are so many fantastic stories in the book. Then even with like, at some point when I was also trying to find, okay, what next to do with my craft, because there was a crossroad I came to. I was about 17. I was done with secondary school. And there was a decision of whether you know, to send me off to Apapa Wharf to go and do like Boy, which is not a bad thing. It's just wasn't my dream at the time. And so I was always drawing at that stuff. And then I go into church and I'm hearing my pastor shouting, "Yes, that a man's diligent in his work. He will sit among kings and not be like." And that kind of like forced me to helped me to dive deeper into my craft. So at the end of the day, Christianity and the Bible, there's something that my friends say, we don't do this because it's like, a lot of people are doing 𝐶RK, Christian Religious Knowledge. You're studying the scripture just so you can come and show off or be a teacher. Like this was literally life or death situations for me. So, so innately, I'm a believer innately.
You
Long
believe.
so long before I even finally, oh Lord Jesus, give my life to Christ. Long before that, he was already in the mix. That was like probably like a formality at some point.
Wow.
Funny story, I finally gave my life to Christ when I thought the world would come to an end in 2012. You know, Mayan calendar things, all those excess stuff.
Because I read a lot.
But basically, I give all that foundation to say this has been my life. So when I was like in my late teens, when I knew, okay, I really wanted to do music and do art, this was on the back of, you know, first of all, my cultural experience as a young person growing up with pop culture and music. But also there was on the back of the fact that there was always this Jesus somewhere who I used to fall back to help me figure out every single part of the life. You know, whether the 𝐷𝐵s, poor relationship choices, even the ones where he's telling you, guy, do not do this. And you say, Lord, I'm gonna see for myself. You know, so, and I was like, okay, you know what, how about we make music that speaks to people like me? Who are probably not into all this, Lord, I lift my hands. So, I mean, that time I used to be averse to worship songs. I didn't understand why. I was like, guys, talk to us. Like, talk to us as a way we talk. Now I use them. I understand it better now. But at the time, that was what I was like, okay, you know, there are many people like me too who can't connect to this. But we can connect to R&B, hip-hop, Afrobeats and stuff. That's us. We talk a certain way. How about I put the music where I can communicate what they too are looking for, the way it has happened for me in music. So, and that's what started all this.
Amazing. Interesting story.
Yeah.
27 families in how many years?
20 years.
So average of one
family per 8 months.
One family every 8 months.
Every 8 months on average.
What happened with that?
Ah.
Why that? Was it?
Oh no, it was.
Financial?
Yeah, I mean we're very poor. Then my mom was out. Then it was always like I said, dynamics too.
I'd never heard about this before. Like I've heard about maybe like 5 families.
Oh no.
So, but I think that when God allows those kind of things happen, I'm not saying God made it happen. In hindsight, God didn't make it happen live, right? But God uses it because that means that you lived with a variety of people. So you were not
cultures.
just wearing like a religious toga.
At some point, I was a Muslim for 3 months.
Wow.
You get me? So the only reason I stopped was because we moved to it. So like we moved from that. So it was a place I was staying with somebody. Our closest neighbor who was like the best human being ever.
Wow.
Happened to be a Muslim guy. And so there was all that.
Would you say that also gave you depth in your person and empathy?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think that sometimes people get religious because they are only used to one way.
You've only known one
done.
Yeah.
So when they see somebody else who's not doing like that,
I mean, I put up a tweet yesterday or 2 days ago that's been going crazy, and I was busy breaking down lately now, there was a time where 4 years ago, 2 years ago even, we barely had any Afro gospel, Afro fusion type events or heavy invitations to churches. Now it's almost like it still has a long way to go, but it's more prominent nowadays. We've gone from like maybe having one festival Aramanda in a year to now we have like
8,
let's say
10.
it was like Rockfest and Aramanda. Now we're going to probably have like 4 by December. So Christians, by the way, there's stuff for you coming by the 4th quarter.
Absolutely.
But you know, this year there's been a rise of Christian parties. By Christian parties literally for young believers to come meet each other, have fun, dance, shout and sing at the top of their voices, have a great time in a godly setting with fellow godly people. And one of them was posted by Praise World over on their page a few days ago, and they were being dragged with the normal Christian CRK format. And I'm like, so I put up a whole thing. I was like, you people are saying all these things. I'm 30 now. I remember vividly when Hillsong was the devil's music.
I said something. I was on Dr. Foy's podcast.
Yeah.
And I said that I strongly believe that the same way, hymns, there was a time it was just hymns. Like every church service, it was a hymn.
People don't know
you
that
sang.
Amazing Grace. I don't know if it's Amazing Grace. There's a popular hymn that was resung. It's basically a Christian cover of I'm not sure if it's that song. There's one very popular. I can't remember. I'll confirm. But there's one of those hymns that is literally a cover of a song that was sung in pubs.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
So, but then, like I was saying on the whole tweet, I was like, everybody here keeps making noise. Oh, why are Christians partying? Why are you singing Afrobeats? Why? I'm not like, okay, I decided to do people a favor. I went and screen grabbed a recording of the Jewish synagogue during their prayer hours. It sounds like Arab music. It sounds nothing like what we use on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
there's also like the black Christian churches, they have their own sound.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's going to be very ludicrous for
Yeah.
a Jewish church to say, oh, Choma Jesus, you're not born again because you're not singing like us. But that doesn't make any sense. Right? Literally. So the same way it feels different for you. And I'm like, okay, now you're accusing Christian pastors. I'm like, let's look at typical Thanksgiving service on Sunday.
Yes.
Young people with handkerchief, dancing and jumping and sweating all over, singing in the name of the Lord to a particular sound.
Yes.
We are doing the exact same thing in a Christian party, and you say it's not Christian because what?
Is it
The
because
sound
we're not in
changed?
the falls of a church?
Or we're not in the falls.
So if I
Like,
drive my car out of the parking lot and I drive it to the highway, doesn't now become a trailer just because it's not in a parking lot. so I was saying that the time was just hymns,
yes.
right, and then some feminists might be like, we don't want hymns again, we want has, we want hymnals instead of hymnals.
I leave this one for you. I leave it for you.
I hope they won't say we don't want amen, we want a women.
I mean, they're already saying it, but I don't know, man.
A womenstration. Womentors.
Good.
Womankind. Why are you talking about mankind? Womankind.
That is killing me.
Womanual. It says if a manual is written by a woman, this will become a womanual.
It's too much.
It's too much. So those time was just hymns, and then now we have a lot of CCM, Christian Contemporary Music. And I said, I believe that at some point very soon, Afrobeats are going to become the main sound, and then CCM will become like what hymns have become, which is like, just some services where you sing that. So the progression of sound, let's talk about evolution or progression, right? Your music has evolved. When I say evolved, in terms of what I say, you're addressing specific issues. So you have different songs. It's all love, but it's not just like boring one love theme. You've evolved, and you're a graphic designer. I know you don't put that out there, but you possibly have clients.
There was a time when it was
spaces.
heavy. I still do, but mostly now we've shifted mostly to event branding. So
talk about becoming. Talk about being able to accommodate, own all your gifts, and then evolve. I'm very passionate and big about that. How are you managing that? So you're best known in most circles for your music, right?
So the thing is, it's actually been a shift at some point. So in the beginning, I think 2017 to 2019, it was more music. And then 2020 through to, I think, even early last year, I'd literally go to events and be like, oh, meet Angeloh, man. He's one of the most epic graphic designers, illustrators, and whatnot. Like, as someone I used to get annoyed, like, but guys, I have songs, like, stop it. But then with this album, again, the attention shifted. And also because I intentionally shifted to in what I was putting out more. So there was a space where it was more about the artwork. So I've done arts and designs for virtually everybody in the space.
Yeah.
And all that. In the aspect of how do you balance it, I don't think I'm balancing it yet. Before I used to feel guilty, but then there's some thought leaders I follow, and they're like, when you're trying to build something, your focus is not balanced. Your focus is build and get leverage. When you have leverage, you can then focus on balance. So right now I'm still looking for leverage. So I'm a music artist. I run a freelance design company with John 𝐷𝐿. So we've done Rockfest branding, Aramanda branding, so many other stuff as well. I'm a co-founder of an animation studio. That's where I'm coming from for this interview. So there's that happening at the same time.
So is that why you're animated?
Yeah.
You watch anime?
Girl, we make them.
Hey, my watch you can make them. So you don't watch, you just make.
Oh God,
right.
Pastor Dav is killing me.
Are you wearing a watch?
No, I'm not.
Because you watch.
Oh God.
So you're a watchman.
I can't keep up.
But I'm not the Kardashians, so why are you trying to keep up?
Oh, Jesus is Lord. Oh my God. Yeah, this boy, let's just give it up for Pastor Dabi.
Go on. So branding.
So yes, so with all that.
Are you affordable with your branding? Or it depends.
It depends.
It depends.
It depends on what we're working on and why.
Because we'll talk. Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm thinking
No,
about
no.
I'm thinking about white nights this year. If you're affordable,
Let's talk off camera. Yes.
right,
So, but basically, I think I'll just say this for anybody. I think I was at an event the other day, and T.Y. Bello, who I think T.Y. is like future goals for now, in the sense of positioning, in the sense of how much impact she has made,
yeah,
and how she has also evolved. I mean, she's a renowned photographer, renowned musician, renowned minister. So she's like the closest person I know that is as multifaceted as I am at that level. You know, and God is taking good care of her. You know,
Yes,
that's
yes.
another aspiration.
yes,
So,
I love that.
and you know, and she was saying so many things that are profound, which I would also share. So on one hand, especially for if you're a young person here, at this point in time, balance is not your focus. Leverage is your focus. So
Yeah.
do everything you can, you know, with all you have. Personally, I do have this. I have like this. I don't know. I'll call it a potential guilt.
Okay.
Let me explain. It's like there's this man, you know, what if you die right now? Can you beat your chest and
That
say
you've
you've
died
used all the
empty.
thing, you died empty? You're like, oh God. However, there's also the other part of
Prayer.
knowing it's a marathon.
Right.
So T.Y., for example, that I just spoke of, she's not my mate.
She even posted. Yeah, I didn't even know she had been a photographer that long. She posted something recently about
Oh.
how she's been doing this for 20 years.
Yes, she has.
I'm like, wow, it's been that long. Because
3
I
sitting
remember
presidents, she has been their personal
Right.
photographer. So
it's been like I knew when she started. Right. So that makes me old, right? But 20 years.
20
so
years.
it really does take some time
yeah,
as well.
so that's the other thing I have to constantly now remind myself. So remember too, like it's a marathon.
Yeah.
Pastor Dami has been doing this for a while.
Yes.
So someone might be like, "Oh man, I'd like to have white nights. I'd like to have white paper. I'd like to
You're
have
right.
the podcast. I'd like to have." This is 2023, Pastor Dami. You're seeing,
Come on now.
you know.
Good. That's
so,
a good perspective.
So that's something I'm also trying to remind myself consciously,
Yes.
because everything. This is the thing with all your dreams and passions. Everything always seems so urgent.
Yeah.
Like if you don't do it now, the world will end.
Yes.
It's probably a good thing. So, but like I said, find leverage. Then two, she also said this, like, find a way to rely on God, like empty yourself with God in a way where you get reassurance and refuel from Him,
Yes.
so that you're able to move. And then the other side of it is just trying to find, okay, you know how sometimes you're so I'm sure you probably relate with this, where for some of us, because our visions are constantly expanding, it's like a carrot in front of a rabbit. Like you never seem to ever really reach your goal. So if you don't actively take time to, first of all, journal your journey, journal your journey, journal your wins. It's very easy for you to feel like you're not growing.
Yeah, despite what you've
Despite
built
what,
so
so
far.
every day you wake up and you're like, man, I'm not doing anything with my life. Then somebody will hit you like, oh, please, can you send us a profile for a talk show? We need your bio. And then you start typing your bio like, oh, okay, that's me. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it.
Yes.
So that's also something I'm trying to work on right now. So I've not found balance yet. I'm looking for leverage, but I'm also trying to be more healthy with how I approach it.
I think that's very important, the point you made in terms of a lot of young people being under pressure. You see people who are 22 having midlife crisis. Right. As in, just calm
I have
down.
enough.
It's not that deep. There's so much ahead of us. And I usually say that a lot of people are focused on the future, but you must sometimes live in the tension. You're coming from a place, you're going to a place. Where you are is called the present. That means it's a gift because it's a present, right? So you must be a master of tension. How do you manage the tension, right?
I think I want to even ask you that question.
Okay,
Like,
so maybe I should answer a little bit. How do you manage the tension? I think number one is a lot of people want to fly without being rooted. You have to be rooted. Otherwise, you'll be floating. You won't fly. Not everything that is in the air is flying. Some things are floating. And there's a difference between flying and floating. Flying is you're going towards a certain direction and you're sort of like in control. There's momentum, there's traction. But floating is the wind is carrying you,
Literally to and fro.
everywhere. And if you're floating, if you become big, you put the B instead of the F,
you'll be bloated.
you were bloated. So from floating to bloating, right? And that's not the way it's supposed to be. So I think people need to be grounded, which means that I have a big dream, but I have daily disciplines. I have a big dream, but I have to-dos on a daily basis. And even though I've not won the Grammys or the Oscars or I've not reached 1 billion lives, if what I did that day was to read a book or to craft a proposal or to do a recording or to do the BGVs for that track or to write a chapter of that book or to sell 10 units of that
finding joy
merch,
in the process.
in the process, and just knowing that, yes, I did something today. So let's talk about some of your daily disciplines. A lot of creative people can be so scattered, right?
Talk to us.
And that's important
Talk
because
to us directly.
no, the scattering is part of the creativity,
Yeah.
but it's supposed to be an extension. So if you can't master the tension, you can't have the extension.
Oof, James.
You end up in contention.
You're welcome to my podcast featuring Pastor Damilola
I
Oluwatoyinbo.
love it.
It's Black Paper today.
Black Paper Podcast.
Black Paper Podcast today.
You might be surprised though. We might actually do another one like that, where we do the
flip.
maybe we might speak in antonyms, right? Or it might just be like a shade kind of podcast.
Shade.
Yeah.
They're throwing shades.
We'll be throwing shades, wear sun shades, and all of that, and then we'll make sure all the guests are called Shadi.
Oh God. You
Slim
were
Shady.
teaching us.
So if you don't master tension, you're
Don't
not
get
qualified for extension. And then that might lead to contention and detention and all the other shons. So what I know is for anybody who is delivering value, so you're delivering value, you have clients, you have products, you have albums. So your creativity, even though there might be expressions of it that are scattered, because again, a painter scatters the paint, a sower scatters his seed, a singer releases, she builds. But if you find a creative that has a product or a service or a solution, they're still disciplined in what they're doing.
Yes.
So talk to us about the back end, your back end. What does it look like? Do you have a writing schedule? Do you have a thinking schedule? Do you have rehearsal days per week, regardless of the project you're working on?
So I think, and I'm just going to be very honest there, which is why I said, like, for now, I still don't have balance yet. Because these are also, I think one of the things that's happened for me. So again, I'll point to the person I'm looking at. So I know TY has days she has photography sessions.
Okay.
I mean, she also spoke about
Blocked
how
off.
blocked off. She also has a day in the week where she shuts it off to literally rest and do no work.
Right.
Of course, then she's doing internal work, but it's reflecting, praying, meditating, and just resting to
Good
go back
stuff.
in. And then she has a day specifically where she makes music. I'm still trying to figure out how I do that, which is why I said, like, for now, my space, even my inside still feel very chaotic in the sense where, so a lot of these contentions and detentions, you're talking, like, these are literally the things that God is trying to help me put together.
Yeah.
And for me, it feels a little strenuous because I have several I have tos. So I think there's also that thing where I'm also trying to come into a place where I'm redefining
What's urgent and what's important.
well, redefining what's urgent, what's important. In the other case, also redefining, or rather finding ways to enjoy the process. So like I said, for example, I have a full-time animation business that I'm a part of that I have to show up for, or I show up, not I have to, again, I have to change those up because I'm like, if I wasn't doing it, what else was I going to be doing? Like, even if I have all the other things I want to do, I still want to do this. So I show up for that. I show up for events. I show up for when we want to make music, we literally have to, like, so when we wanted to make this album, we literally had to, like, block off like several weekends in a particular month in 2020. This 23, in 22. We had to block out like 3 weekends or so just to be able to focus and deep dive. It used to be a whole lot easier before, but now there's several aspects because you have that. You still have family in the mix at the same time.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I feel very stretched. And it feels like you're trying to hold the rubber back from not breaking. But then again, this is what I said, like, personally, I'm trying to, maybe redefine it. Literally my prayer, like, okay, Lord, show me what exactly is happening here. Is there a way I can structure things? Sometimes also even feeling like you can give yourself permission to even shut down sometimes.
True.
So because myself, I'm always going. So it's something I'm still trying to figure out. So I don't really know if I have specific advice. But then again, the other flip side of it too, because I have a very so many conversations like this with my close friend and creative partner John, and he's like, well, but let's. Even someone else said it too. Like my wife has dragged me for it. Like, okay, you say you want to. What's your goals? Or I want to be a creative. I want to change lives. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then you're so focused on the things you're trying to achieve. You're like, okay, let's say you want to change lives. So how do you change lives? Oh, with my music and my stuff. Have you done that today?
Yeah.
Yes, I think I have. Okay, did you meet your to-do list today? Probably my to-do list always feel unending, but there are some things you do tick off. Of course, I'm also aware that there are some time blockers as well. So especially now that we're heavily on content, it's very easy to go from creating to overtly binging. Or trying to use it to douse your attention. So I'm navigating. The honest truth is I will not lie for anybody. I'm still navigating how to bring control
into all
of that. So
I'm so grateful for your vulnerability because sometimes people feel like I need to have perfect answers, but I don't think you need to have perfect answers. I think you need to have true answers. Because in the truth that you speak, somebody finds their perfection. All right, and that's why I created the Rich Genius, and we have the Genius X community for those who are navigating that space and just want to be able to build successfully on their services, or rather on their gifts and their abilities through services and goods and systems. So pay attention to this and take advantage of this offer right now.
Are you tired of putting your passion on hold because you don't think it will make you rich? It's time for you to change that mindset and start living the life you've always dreamed of. Hi, I'm Damilola Oluwatoyinbo, and I'm here to help you unleash your full potential with the Rich Genius program. As someone who has found his gifts and turned them into profitable ventures, I know firsthand the power of following your passion. The Rich Genius program is designed to help you discover your gifts, find your purpose, and make a lot of money from them. With our guidance, you will learn how to turn your passion into a thriving business that will provide you with financial freedom. So why wait? Don't put your passion on hold any longer. Start your journey towards success with the Rich Genius program today. Join me and become a part of a community of progressive people who are deploying their gifts profitably. Click the Learn More button now to get started on your path to success.
So ensure you take advantage of the Rich Genius program right now. It's loaded. It is a documentation of all the best of the tools and the strategies that I have. Within the time I was able to compress it in, it's about 2 hours plus of content. You can dive into it, 5 modules, and take it a module a day and be done in a week, right? Or you can decide to take your time and implement the different things I share. Now, that's not stuff I got from Google. That was stuff I extracted from my life and how, by the grace of God, I've generated millions of naira, not yet dollars, but one day I'll say dollars from my gifts. All right. Now, there's an expression of the white people movement that you might be aware of, and I want you to be a part of this year. Angeloh was one of our guests last year on White Night. So pay attention to your screen and get your tickets right now.
Can we celebrate the amazing, the author, the singer, the mentor? Please put your hand together for 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄 as he comes to share with us how we all start.
I'm just going to share a couple of stories. So please quickly pick up your phones, go to Instagram. Are you on Instagram already? All right, just go to this place and click it, the plus either, then slide. You're going to see stories. Some people still didn't get it.
But we know say God now, Papa, and we have the right genes in us.
Modupe, you are very rude.
You see somebody that knows something about girl, that's when they will now be take your picture and go. It's not
So I promise you that everything you touch is fire. Every beat you're on is a banger. Because every word I speak is Rema. Another.
Love is the tango of consonance and dissonance, dancing to the symphonies of life set to be in harmony.
As you just called on strike recently, some young girls are not going back to school the same. Some of them are going back to school pregnant. And now when somebody study anatomy, if you see anatomy, hey!
Good evening, 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄. Good evening, Pastor Toju. I've laughed. I hope I've not thrown my voice away.
All right, so be at White Night this year. Ensure you don't miss it. There's going to be spoken word, spontaneous wordplay, white paper contest, music, dance, fun, prizes, exercises. It's going to be bigger and better than we've ever had. And I look forward to seeing you and yours there. So you had White Night last year. How was it for you?
White night is always, like, I mean, it's white. So you just, first of all, you get to the place, feel like you just entered the pearly gates. We're just white. I think we should just have like maybe white smoke machines, just
Right,
filling
all
the place with thick smoke.
around,
Just sit
yeah.
down. You don't see any feet.
Come on now.
Phenomenal experience.
Yeah.
First off, I like how you're able to tie all the expressions of the white paper movement
Yeah.
into an event. So you're there, you're entertained.
Yeah.
I mean, Pastor Dami is going to give 𝐓𝐇𝐈𝐒, 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄. And then the platform is also open for many other creatives to come and
Yes.
express the abundance of their creative genius as well in that same space. So you get entertained, you get wisdom, you also get refreshed to push forward in the journey.
Yes.
So I don't know if we had did we have any, like, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the full details of last year, but I think that might be something we might also do. Maybe it's a session to help people power on for the next part of their vision.
Yes, we had that with my wife.
Okay, yes, we did
conversation,
have that.
yes.
Exactly. So those are the kind of things to expect at White Night. You should be there. Of course, it's white, all white dress code. So, come through looking fresh and clean, no stain.
Fresh and clean, because something good is coming.
God.
Something good is coming.
I see.
I love that song, yo.
Thank you so
I love
much.
it. That's one of Angelo's songs. If you haven't listened to it, you should listen to it. And we'll check out availability, but I think Angelo is going to be there again this year's 3rd of December. Now, let's talk about some heavy stuff. Mohbad was...
they dragged me to finally speak on this issue.
Yes,
All
we
right.
need to speak about it because, a critical part of White Power Wisdom, we attract a lot of creative people. And because of my own gifts and great sets, right? And because I'm also passionate about the next generation, it is something that has weighed on my heart. I've tried not to, become overly emotional about it, but I look at that space, I see the Malian movement, right? Whether it's the record label or people that buy into it. And then all of a sudden, people are now saying, we're banning Naira Marley and his songs. We're doing all of that stuff. The issue for me is when these guys emerged, they were very clear about their messaging, right? Come out pants, nowhere bra, weekly craze, nah, can it happen to can it come, right? And people bought into that, right? Now, when things are going bad, people are like, okay, maybe we're seeing through that. Can you talk to us about the importance of pushing the right messages aggressively? Because I think what happens sometimes is that it's not the best messages that win. Is the best sold messages, is the best driven messages, is the messages that people are most passionate about, most aggressive about. So can you talk about that? Then we'll talk about the mobile thing and Malian music.
I was talking with someone on IG Live one time, like 2 weeks ago, and the question was, what is secular music, for example? And I was like, okay, what is secular? Secular is, yes, of course, the first definition is devoid of religious intonation.
I thought...
No, that is like dictionary-wise, that's one definition of it. It doesn't have anything that doesn't have any religious intonation.
I thought that secular music was like music that takes you in a circle, like a circular...
Can somebody get Pastor Dami out of this session?
Like just be in a circle.
Yeah, you're going round and
Yeah,
round.
like the one they use for what they call those chairs, musical chairs.
God.
Secular music.
That is killing me.
I don't kill, I heal. Like music that just be in a circle. Right? Is that not secular music?
That is killing me. I can't take it. It's too much.
So you're talking about secular music.
Yeah, so we have to define
Devoid of
secular
religion.
first. And first definition is, devoid of religious intonation or inclination. Fine. The other side, which I'm not necessarily sure it's in the dictionary specific, but based on my engagement with culture, secular also means the dominant, prevailing
I see.
ideology. And so, nowadays we hear about all the different things that the U.S. government, how they are leaning towards certain, especially cases concerning identity and whatnot. And you're like, if you go back a couple centuries ago, not even maybe over 50 years ago, this was a country that was heavily built on Christian values
Mm.
or kingdom values.
Yeah, in God we
In
trust.
God we trust.
Prayers
The
and
constitutions are
schools.
built
Yeah.
off literally the biblical principles, right?
Yeah.
At that point, I can say that for example, we're like, okay, we want to take the gospel to the farthest ends of the earth. Now, if the gospel is the prevalent ideology on the planet, at that point in time, the gospel becomes a secular ideology.
Hmm. Hmm.
The thing we're really trying to achieve is for the gospel to become secular ideology. So secular is not a bad thing in of itself. Secular just means this is prevalent in a place. So we know that was, so of course with the music part, it now means, okay, now that is the definition, we can now go down, okay, but even in secular music, there are songs that are wholesome, there are songs which, if you're worried, just put it to the Philippians 4 test. Is it lovely?
Yeah.
Is it honorable? Is it of
true?
good report?
Good
Is it
report.
true?
Yeah.
That's the test. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the person was saying Jesus up and down, right?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Because you can even use Jesus as a swear word.
People use
in their
Jesus as
music.
a swear word anyway, so it's not like...
Yeah.
So now coming back here, I think I've even laid myself up for the first question before we go deeper into my reaction to the whole mobile situation. The truth is, what the body has failed to realize for so long. Another conversation, for example, somebody was like, oh, they were watching TV, like especially satellite TV. When somebody wants to say Jesus now, not even in a swear context, they blip it out.
Really?
Yeah, this has been happening. Like, so when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is like 2020. We're talking like this has been happening since like 2019. And my response simply was, well, some people were building the industry. My response was, we decided to focus on building only churches. This is not to say churches are. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, but there are people that we know. I know people who have people who resigned from serious political positions. People who resigned, people who were probably next to be, I don't know what the office before the IG is, but people who were probably supposed to be next in line, who pulled off to go and start churches. People who even pulled off to just be deacons or ushers or just be member of somebody else's church. It's not that they really had a calling. They were just... it feels like
they're moved by the secular idea in that ministry.
In that ministry,
Based
the
on what you
secular
said about
idea.
what secular
Yeah,
is,
so
the prevailing thought
that
if you're really...
the more spiritual you get, the more you disconnect from society.
Wow.
Meanwhile, so you can even bring it down to how, for example, we were talking about the music aspect. I was like, the way this kingdom has really been about colonialism. We're here wearing T-shirts right now. T-shirts are not our tradition.
They're not our native wears.
Let me even say something funny. Someone will be like, oh, why are you keeping long beards? Why are you keeping dreadlocks? Remember, the Bible actually says the Israelites were not supposed to cut their hair. We are following British convention, not even biblical convention.
Oh, my goodness.
We are following Egyptian conventions. They were the ones that when they took Joseph was bearded and hairy and all that. When they took him, they shaved him, put makeup on his face, changed his hair, put on his head. Like, when this is what even happens, for example. So, which here even gets, I'm deviating a bit, but just for context. When Islam comes into a place, they wipe your culture away and replace it with Arabic culture. When Christianity comes into a place, it doesn't wipe your culture away. It just imprints Jesus on it. Which is why we have trauma. None of us are singing. None of us even know. It's even because of Pentecostal churches now that we know Greek words and Hebrew words based on scripture interpretation.
Yeah.
Minus that, we probably didn't need it.
Yeah.
Because Jesus is more focused on imprinting values. He created the diversity in the first place.
Of the cultures, yeah.
He's not trying to make it one culture. There's beauty in the diversity. So all that I'm saying is that if we become the prevalent ideology, so the next problem now becomes, people think, oh, it's only by preaching sermons. You have to preach sermons.
Yeah.
But guess what? Somebody made a song and it has gone several times more viral than
many
any
times
sermon.
Songs go much further than
now you'll be like,
many
oh,
times.
we need to create. I'm like, the first issue is, here's not the other issue I also have. I'll be like, okay, the way we talk about these things, for example, like I said, we feel like the more spiritual you get, the more disconnected from life you become. When I started, this album, somebody literally was, this isn't a Christian song they make. And I was like, I don't understand. I'm married. Did your pastor's children fall from the sky? Like your pastor and his wife, there's something they did that led to the children. Children don't drop from the sky.
Right.
Like, what are we doing here?
But, like James Bond, if he had children
Wait for it.
in, It's escapades, Skyfall.
God. You know, it's more painful when you know where it's good.
James, right? When he bonds with his wife
the sky
in
falls.
the air, they deliver something that can fall. He said, children can fall from the sky. In fact, as a matter of fact, if you're the bomb, right, and you release something from the sky, what's that?
I can't. I'm done.
Bomb blast.
Oh God.
You're the bomb.
Oh God. Pastor Dami, why?
now I'm talking about bombs. Also, nobody's giving bombastic side eye.
eyes. It's probably going around.
All right.
So
you're just talking about the place of romance, which is a real part
it's a real part of our life.
of relationships, adult godly relationships.
Adult godly
And
relationships.
so somebody needs to push that message
Because
and make it mainstream, as we would call it.
or else everybody else with an SMV mic that doesn't have God inside them is already doing it.
Right.
BB Naija is airing during children daytime when children are awake watching TV, and we all know nobody's parents actually scrutinizes age. You know, because they put rated 18 doesn't mean anybody in their house stopped under 18 years from watching it. Music videos are playing 10 a.m. in the morning with all kinds of booty shaking and how people are talking rubbish and say it's love. Like, if you're not doing it, the whole society is doing it actively.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, we are here pretending as if Paul was not addressing issues like this in the Bible. The
Right.
same Apostle Paul.
Right.
Like,
Do you want to adjust your mic
Okay.
so that when you move? Yeah.
Okay. Like, we're here discussing, which is why I love the Bible. If we were the ones to write the Bible, we'll probably censor. It'll probably be a very small, tiny pocket book.
Pamphlet.
And Gideon's Bible will be a pamphlet. Because we'll take out everything. I'm like, the same Bible talked about literally. Don't be like, oh, a lady came on my TikTok the other day. Oh, this is looking very, I was performing at a church festival. I said, oh, this is very carnal and stuff. And I asked her, are you actively praying for a husband right now? Because she was young, so I know it's in the demographic. You're praying for a husband actively. I know. You can't lie to me. So if you're praying for your husband right now, you too, you're carnal by your understanding. Like, why are you praying for your husband? I don't know. What's this? Like, you'll be like, oh, you know, money is the root of all. You don't need money. Yet you work 9 to 5, 80 hours a week for this money. Like, we're lying.
Right.
We are trying so hard to. I'm like, God is God. I can't impress him. When the Israelites were on their journey, they was giving them manna. The promised land was filled with commerce. Like, please.
So how can people push that?
So how can we push?
Let's talk about Naira Marley. Now, I don't know a lot about his history. But the general idea was that this guy was in the UK, or the UK, Now, he had a lot of charges against him in the UK. Now, I don't know why he came to Nigeria, but then he came to Nigeria, and he started, I don't know whether he had backers or funders, I don't know, but he had a vision. And that vision was, I want to spread my message. And the guy he's done a pretty impressive work. When I say impressive, I'm not saying positive.
No,
I'm just saying you can't ignore
it.
what they've done about 5 to 6 years, right? Or maybe a bit more than that. And it's had this like mentorship model where you get young talents to, you know, what should we begin to do, right? For those who have positive messages. Because what's going on now is that people that are going against Mali music, they're not even Christians. They're even people that are atheists. They're like, no, we don't want this kind of music again. No. What can people who have positive messages begin to do actively, whether they are actually musicians or whether they are business people, because, you know, funding is key, or whether they're just fans, people online?
I don't even know if I want to speak to let me talk to church, because I know church. We have to come to a place where we understand something called kingdom economy. So, for example, we're coming to do something. Pastor Dami has this is one space in a very significantly beautiful space, well situated, that is run by Pastor Dami, right? So if I had an event that the space could accommodate, I'd prioritize, and this is how we operate. I prioritize, okay, who are the people? Okay, I know there are other different venues, but
thanks for that.
Yeah,
for
like
that referral.
There are other different venues, but how do I find a way to keep the money circulating
I see what you mean.
in among us? It's the same reason why somebody be like, why should I pay a Christian artist? Why shouldn't you pay? How does he pay his Christian instrumentalist?
How does he pay his Christian food supplier?
How does he pay his Christian food
his
supplier?
Christian clothes maker?
Do you get me? Like,
his Christian soap seller.
See, it's an economic system. The Israelites were buying and selling from each other. Why are we saying that? It's like, so if all of us church now, where the Israel will now go to Canaan and say we're not paying each other for service, like what? Who burn it?
So go and find your honey. Land is
like how? So why I say that is because if we start thinking that way, then obviously so it also has to be the part of understanding the importance of what we do in culture, which is why I said if we think for a moment that there's a possibility for kingdom value to be the predominant value set globally, it helps us think differently. Because a lot of times when we think, go into the world and make it disciples, we're only thinking in spiritual things. We forget that if the head of the police, I mean, we've been on Twitter, you see people dragging the IG every 2 days. Like, we feel like he only speaks to convenient issues. I dare say that if we had a solid believer on the seat, and I'm not saying believer because he's a Christian or but I mean somebody who has met Jesus, you would most likely get a different set of reactions. Emphasis on somebody who has met Jesus, because people say that Christians
whose life
bears the
fruit.
Right? So the same thing happens here, where you have some of these people, you'll be shocked at how many Christians are also part of the money trail. How many Christians they come to your church on Sundays, but they are the managers and funders or platform builders. Before, the excuse was there's no sweet Christian music or all that stuff. That's no more the fact anymore at this point. Then there's also the part of even believing is even a possibility. And then again, why did I bring up the economy part? Because sometimes you'll be like, okay, if I back you, where's the money coming back from? It's business. Where is the money coming back from? If everything we do has to be charity based, we can't go far.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. So, which is why I said we have to start thinking like a kingdom and not a religion. If we start doing that, it helps us to think very differently. It helps the people react. So I'm like, you'll be surprised. People are saying Big Brother Naija. There are many of us that watch Big Brother Naija and tweet about it. The one that even annoys me the most is the ones that make things even more popular. So somebody will just come now and wear one small hat, wear red leather, pour blood on himself on stage and say he's performing, and Christians will come and say in the name of this is demonic, this is demonic. You just made the person go viral.
Because you're lending your voice.
Like, why are you so shocked? First off, which is not my problem. Why are you so shocked they are acting demonic? Did they tell you they are born again in the first place? Like, why am I, like me seeing a ritualist kill someone, I'm like, ritualists should not kill people. Like, that's his job description. How about I put that energy behind? If all of us gather that same energy and put it behind.
I think that what I even find funny is that many people that put those comments in those negative
they never ever
they won't come to your page
and say good things.
They
don't retweet you. They don't do nothing. Everybody throws the other side. Then probably somebody even waiting for you to drop the ball, so they'll come and trend you,
drag you.
And I'm like,
now, can you talk to somebody? There's somebody who has some gifts. The person is not grounded in the faith, but the person is being approached, right? Let's say a person is being approached by a movement that is well known for LGBTQ, or a record label that is well known for Yahoo, or a group of persons that are well known for promiscuity. Talks to that young man or that young lady who's maybe 18. And their mind's like, I want to be like Ira Star, right? I want to be like this person or that person. Talk to that person who's in that in-between season. The person is not solid yet, but the guy's like, I need to blow. I need to make money. I
will pray for you.
Are you Nosa? Is Nosa that said, I will always pray for you?
It's too good. It's too good. It's painful.
When I say, are you Nosa, you say no, sir.
Oh, God. There's more coming. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Go for it.
I know, sir. I know.
I know, sir. So you pray for.
I'll pray for you. And the reason I'll pray for it is because these issues, advice cannot solve it. I've had... Wow. I'll say this before I pray. I can't remember, probably early 20s, year 3, Unilag, 2017, getting ready to I think it was even year 4. Okay, it was starting from year 3, but by this is year 4. This is year 4, final year. We're hungry. We're literally living in school based on handouts. This is Unilag, the most flexed, fashion forward, entertainment savvy, life very close to the pulse of the city.
Yeah.
So, and here you are, you know, you love Jesus, you're trying to create, you're struggling, you're even trying to just get money to even just buy 1 or 2 books for class and just eat and call it a day. And then someone's like, man, I really love this, your songs. You know, man, it's so dope, man. I like that it's Jesus, but it's not in your face and all that. Okay, I know somebody that funds, that cuts these endorsement deals for these A-level artists. Let's go and have a meeting. You go for the meeting, you play your song. The person is feeling your song. You know, now in that bump in your head, like, God, thank you, Lord. Person I'm like, man, I like your song. I think we can do a lot with it. And I'm ready right now to sign a 7-figure deal for you.
Wow.
I just need one small thing. Can you leave Jesus out of it?
Wow.
You know,
This is
don't change the song.
Happened to you.
This is it's not hypothesis I'm giving. Like, this is real life, right? Can you now? This wasn't the first time, but I say this one because this was the one that shook us to our core. This one I needed extra people to think about it together. Like, it's not. Like I say, it's not advice I'll give. I'll pray for you.
Are you tired of putting your passion on hold because you don't think it will make you rich? It's time for you to change the mindset and start living the life you've always dreamed of. Hi, I'm Damilola Oluwatoyinbo, and I'm here to help you unleash your full potential with the Rich Genius program. As someone who has found his gifts and turned them into profitable ventures, I know firsthand the power of following your passion. The Rich Genius program is designed to help you discover your gifts, find your purpose, and make a lot of money from them. With our guidance, you will learn how to turn your passion into a thriving business that will provide you with financial freedom. So why wait? Don't put your passion on hold any longer. Start your journey towards success with the Rich Genius program today. Join me and become a part of a community of progressive people who are deploying their gifts profitably. Click the Learn More button now to get started on your path to success.
So I'm like, Now you have to understand why it was even more tricky for me. Like I said, I make Jesus music and love songs. I've always been this way. My first song was not the I Lift My Hands Up High song. I've always been able to write songs that, like, because of how I live my life, I'm not trying to be a Christian. I'm a Christian. So how does this spill into every aspect of my life? So sometimes I can talk about things where what always used to happen to me was I'd go to shows, whether in a club or in an art exhibition, and people who, maybe my father was a pastor or I used to be a Christian, but now, man, I'm just doing my own thing, will come after I show, man, bro, wow, you spoke to my heart, man.
Wow.
And the funny part is, even Christian, they knew it was. Everybody else was like, you're making secular music. But when I took it to the people who needed it, they knew exactly what it was.
Come on.
So in my head, I'm like, I have the ability to do that. I can take Jesus out of the song and still make the songs and probably still say the things I want to say and find ways for God to be glorified. But the point was, the way the thing came to me was I need the freedom to say Jesus when I want.
Yeah.
And
because you do that once, it becomes.
If you start time into that thing, that's not what they sent me to do. It's not that I have to always do it, but the plan has to be that I'm free to do that when and how I want to do that. But here was all this money again. Like I said, for context, struggling boy in Unilag. There are so many fine girls I cannot carry. There are so many fine clothes I cannot wear.
Were you planning to carry them before?
Well, like I said, I was in Unilag.
I don't understand.
I was in Unilag.
You're not even Christian. Is your name Carrie Underwood?
Oh,
you
God.
Want to carry her under
I want
the
to
wood.
carry Job.
Carry Job. Instead of it to carry �𝐿𝐻𝐿.
Good.
Anyway.
So, but I'm just saying
have you
this.
been to the Caribbean?
Very soon.
Okay. Area carry.
Oh, God. You carry your ass in the boo. God. Don't bring it out of me.
Bring it. I want it out.
So I'm painting this because, like I said, I like to paint very real pictures.
Yes.
I loved God, but there are different phases of my life.
Yeah.
So these were times where we're young boys. There were things we wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean, for context, year 4 comes, we finally graduated, and I and my friends were like, God, thank you, say we don't get money for this school, for useless. Like, it was like the poverty was a good thing for us.
Yeah, because it reined you in.
It reined us in just enough to the point where when you finally have it, you have sense.
Yeah.
So, but you have to understand that context so that you know it's not Angeloh 2023 that was looking at that deal. I need to know who I was at that time.
I see what you mean.
I was like,
so you're not even this grounded.
I was not this solid.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. So that people won't think that,
it's
you can
me
talk
or
about it
now.
now.
No, I need you to know who. Like, if I had an extra 20K allowance in a month, at least for the flex, I ask for forgiveness later, and God will forgive me, right? But hear this.
Yeah.
The vision was strong. And somewhere inside, it was so compelling. That's why I say it's not advice. There was something we wanted to do, something we felt so sure. At some point, I even heard clearly, like, the day you take Jesus out of this was before that meeting. Like, if you take Jesus out of, remember, it's not like I always sing Jesus.
Yeah.
You can go to all my discography. I don't always sing, like, but you will hear him in the music. It's like Jesus will talk about the parable of the sower. He wasn't saying, oh, and Jesus sowed a seed and he fell on fall. He was just giving stories. Like, that's me.
Yeah.
But it was like the day you take Jesus out, you are removing your bread and butter. So for me, it's not even just ministry and stuff. It's literally like this mean your thing
life.
Is your life, is your success, is your wealth, is your ministry, is everything. You can't remove me out of the thing. So this person finished telling us this now. We go home, myself and my big brother. It takes us 3 days.
Wow.
Because, I mean, the plan was simple. Just take the deal. At least you have money to now create. You can create very cool in-between songs, not shake bomb. Just clean music, Timi Dakolo your own way. I'm not saying they're bad guys, so I'm just saying, like, they were cool guys that were doing great music. They're believers too. So it's not like it was a bad thing. I could play that space.
Yeah.
Then maybe like 2 years after the deal is done, you can now go back to doing what you want to do and you have money to do it.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was a good strategy. Maybe it was not even a bad strategy, but it was not just for... But like I said, it took us 3 days. Myself and... So you have to understand, I was a young guy. And then my other brother, who was way elder than me, we did house, we no fit chop. 3 whole days. And then one day we popped in, how far? What do you think about it? I said, we're not doing it. Say that's what I felt in my spirit.
Wow. Independently.
So why I say I will pray for is because some of those decisions are too big to originate from your own strength or your own idea. Especially when you now put the caveat of you're not rooted yet. There are some people too I know who made those decisions out of what other people... I mean, there was a time when people was like, you have to die for Jesus. Like, how you can do it based on Christian peer pressure. Christianity has peer pressure too. So, but when you're not doing it based on Christian peer pressure, but you're doing it from something more compelling inside. So I just pray for you that in whatever space you find yourself, because again, like I said, life is not a joke. Life is not easy. I know things are hard and things are tight. It's so funny. Sorry, I'll say this, but I have a song. It's titled Bigger. And in the song, I was rapping about the same situation in the song. And the other I was talking about what I said, I was even talking about how it's so funny. And I'll say this very vulnerably. Literally, there was a line in the song, and the person was like, bro, girls no go follow you for this your thing where they do your Jesus thing. So you have to understand, after making this decision, funny story, I dropped another song. I think it was Shower or so, it was even Jesus music, funny enough. And probably 500 fine Christian sisters were just singing the song up and down, posting stories, posting Instagrams. My mind was blown. I was like, God. So you mean you not see white collar on my neck. You mean, this was the literal thing they wanted to use to whine me and drag me to go and do what they not send me.
I say, okay.
And here I was, finally I focused on doing what God sent me to do. And that high I was looking for was here, and I didn't have to go out of line of what God sent me to do. Now we have to even now focus on issues of, okay, my son, so now, in this level now, there's a way you have to carry yourself.
Yeah, so that you don't get caught up in...
Do you understand? But what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, I'm painting this very vulnerable picture for you, so you understand what it's like. So it might be even difficult for you to see.
Yeah.
And it's so funny too, in this our faith, I mean, Hebrews, it tells us how there are so many of our fathers of faith that they even get to see the promise.
Yeah.
So I'm just praying that thing that God used to do to make us have sense when we know we don't have sense, He will do it for you.
Amen. Very important because the pressure is a lot.
Pressure is real.
Is a
Pressure is
lot for
pressuring.
many. The pressure is pressuring. Can you imagine? Pressure cooker. The pressure will cook her.
You guys are missing it. Rewind.
All right, let's begin to taper the conversation to a close. A couple of things. What's like the wisest advice you've gotten? Maybe the top 2 or 3. Just quick questions I want to ask that people can benefit from.
Wisest advice. Man. You know, when you live with 27 different families,
You
advice
say a
plenty.
lot. Which one comes to mind at this time?
Okay, I'll say this. So this one came very recently. Is a theme of things that have been coming very recently, and it addresses, especially if you have depression issues or anxiety issues. Philippians 4 says, "Rejoice again." I say, "Rejoice." Let your moderation be known unto all men. That is, be moderate in how you see life or how you react to life. Why? That is, or be moderate to how you respond to the pressures of life, knowing that God is with you. And so, with this in mind, do not be anxious for anything, but with prayer and thanksgiving, make your request known to God, and His peace that surpasses understanding will guard your heart. So there are 2 advices there. Somebody else was saying, like, when Paul says rejoice, to rejoice means to have joy again. Then he now says rejoice again. I say rejoice. So have joy again, have joy again. I say have joy. Like, it's like find ways to excite yourself in the Lord. To excite yourself knowing that God is near. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you're going to walk through that valley. But the reason you don't fear any evil is because you know.
Yeah.
For many of us, God is with us, but we don't know. So, like, when you excite yourself in the Lord, it helps you to keep your eyes focused on the Lord being with me.
Yes.
And then there was someone was also speaking, and he was also pointing to something. I said sometimes when we hear that scripture too, like the peace of God, we also always think that the situation will change. I said the reason why the peace doesn't make sense is because everybody around you will see that the situation. So now, so even as of this morning, now we're praying in the office, and it's like it's not that the situation is not even, because the advice, the statement was, even when the situation is not changing, why the peace doesn't make sense, because somehow you're strong enough. So he says, I mean, you can look at Jesus. Jesus is crying, Lord, man, if this cup can pass. But in the same vein, he has strength to encourage Peter. Guy, let's pray for 1 more hour now. Why are you slacking? Right? He has the strength to say, I'm the one you're looking for. Carry me. He's on the cross with a nail in his hand. And he has strength to say, bro, here's your mother. Mother, here's your son. Oh, me, I'm out of the picture. Take care of each other. Like, even in so much pain, he's able to still focus. He's able to still do the ministry. By ministry, I don't just mean church. Like, even as little as being head of the family in a very dire situation. It takes a level of soul management. It takes a level of learning how to be at peace. So what now came to me this morning was, sometimes the situation is already changing, which is why I wanted to hear when you spoke about living in the tension.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for you to feel stuck.
Yeah.
It's very easy for you to feel, and this happens to me a lot, where you're so... I always feel like every situation I'm in is perpetual. It's very easy for me to see now as perpetual.
Yeah.
Saying like this, it go day.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you weren't like this a year ago. You were like this 6 months ago.
Yes.
There's been growth,
Something has
but
shifted.
when you're always in that perpetual state, it's very difficult for you. So what he was saying this morning was, the situation might be shifting, and usually is. It's just that the time frame for that shift might not be as abrupt as you want it to be. So what happens is, when you rejoice again, I say rejoice. Give thanks. Try and remind yourself that I'm near you, and find ways to be excited by that. Then pray, ask for what you need, and my peace that doesn't make any sense will. So, is there whether the situation is not changing? Is there whether the situation is changing but needs a lot of time to change, so that you can not break or wither or sink or drown while you have to go through that shadow till you come out on the other side where everything is soft and nice, and then you have to pick up the next thing again and go again. So it's a long advice, but
it's a strong advice. Long but strong and not wrong.
Not wrong.
All right. Now let's talk about. I was going to ask you another question. I'm like, let me leave that because we're running out of time. Let's talk about your new album, the extended one. Talk about it.
So like I said, I make Jesus music and love songs, and I've been doing this since 2015. So since 2017, I started putting out love songs specifically. So there was a project called Love Child. So there was the first EP, second EP, third EP, and then this album, which is the fourth project. So the first EP basically was about me. This was literally me in my school time, situationships, looking for love in all the wrong places while desiring love. I mean, I came from a broken home. So I was, for the longest time, I've been trying to find broken home, then all those different dramatic experiences. So I just like, I need my own.
Yeah.
I can finally be my own.
Yeah.
But not stewarded well. It can take you left, right, and
Places.
center. So that first project was about that. Then the second project, I finally found my wife to be. So it was in our phase of finding her, getting married. So all the excitement and stuff, that's what the sound is like. By Love Child 3, I'm getting ready to be a father. So you will find so which way I say again, like it's a love project, but there are songs of surrender and songs of like deep, intimate worship. And then somebody even walked up to me and was like, oh man, it's so funny. I like your music. I can sing it to God and sing it to my spouse at the same time. I say, yes, designed that way. Like Adam and Eve were in the garden. They can be in all so much love and be picking or naming animals, and God will come in the cool of the day. And you're like, is in him we live, we move, and have our being.
Yeah.
Pastor Dami is here now as Pastor Dami. When he goes home, he's honey. He didn't change. He's the same person. And God didn't leave the room the moment he said, honey, welcome. Like,
Yeah.
So in Love Child 3, I'm going through, healing, discovering love in a way I'd never seen before, and, preparing to be a father. Now, Love Child 4, everything is nice. Love is sweet. There's so much commitment. So something good is coming away. For example, like a song for those that you have people who have been riding with you. I remember vividly. Now my wife got married. The only two things we had in our house was a fridge and a toaster, which people even gave us. Wow. And now it's like we have so much space. You can even sit down and be thinking, hey, maybe we need a new house. Like, you will not be under pressure and forget. Remember, you started a fridge and toaster gift.
Yeah.
And then we're just celebrating love. We're also addressing issues that people don't want to talk about. So the issues of the friend zone, for example. There's God went for you.
God
be
went.
delivered. We have, so in this new, so it was about 7 songs or so. Sugar, Something Good, God went, 𝐶𝐶. Now with this new addition, there are 4 more songs. God went is part of the songs on that project. We also have songs that will be speaking to people who have long distance relationships.
Good.
So we've observed firsthand that people who are like long distance relationships are hard.
Yeah.
And even for people who are dating in Lagos, but probably are 2 different. I mean, I have family on Lekki. They have not seen me for years. And I'm like, it's more difficult to come to the island than it is to travel to Ibadan.
Right.
So we have songs speaking to that. We also have a song speaking to an intimate place with God as well. Like I said, I make Jesus music and love songs. I didn't come outside of him. So I'm really happy for this second half of the project coming out, and I'm excited. It's coming out. By the time you're seeing this episode, it's already out.
Yeah.
So keep streaming it. And
Keep streaming it and turn into a river. Stream. Amazing.
But don't cry.
Don't cry. Yay. Don't cry me a river.
Yeah.
All right. Even if your favorite is Francine Rivers, I am from Rivers State. All right. If there's a legal case, you can port her court.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So we've all come to the end of this beautiful conversation. I wanted to advise young people out there. What would you tell a young person, especially in Nigeria? Of course, we have international viewers as well. So maybe young people across the world, but Nigeria particularly, because many young people are sort of like confused, overwhelmed, maybe even depressed because of the economic situation and the frustration that comes with being so gifted but not having the supportive environment to help groom and push those gifts. Can you do this in 1 minute?
Find God if you don't have God. Be a good person. Be disciplined and a good person, because a lot of times people are the most important currency. The next level you're looking for is in someone's hands. So if you have attitude problem or the cause of your own problem, right? Then you have to persevere. And I say persevere because a lot of times I have peers who are tired. Like, Baba, I don't pay my dues. And I felt that way. It's only to come to this level and I realized that. And I think, again, it's also back to people, too, because sometimes I'm hoping and I pray that God will connect you to senior people. Or when I say senior, I'm not even talking age. Somebody who is probably your mate that is doing what you want to do or related. Or even, it doesn't have to be exactly, but enough for you to see behind the curtains. You know, social media is announcement. Used to come and do on social media. It's announcement, though.
Yeah.
It's announcement.
Yeah.
Nobody really, even BTS.
The back end.
The back end is 130-second BTS edit cut that they were probably went to for months. So if you're able to peek behind the curtain, you see. Because what happened to me in 2023 is we came to a point where we realized, all these dues I felt are paid. Yeah, of course, it's a seed you've been sowing.
Yes.
And it was not useless. It has brought you here. But compared to what you're looking at, who you're comparing yourself to, it's probably a far cry.
Yeah.
So persevere, be a good person, be good to people, serve too, find opportunities to serve, find opportunities to connect. You know, like, especially if you're in the music space, people be like, oh, I want to perform at the show. Have you even befriended the people that are organizing the show? Have you just come and attended the show? You know, just be a part of it. Hail the organizer, Baba, I see you.
Yeah.
Come around several editions. Let them just like, okay.
Support
like
beyond.
Actively, when you serve, you open doors. The gift of a man's hands makes room for them. They will stand before us. So it's two ways. Gifts of your talent, gifts what you sacrifice in giving.
Yeah.
You know, you may not have money to call people and buy dinner, but sometimes you might just find a way to be a part of.
Yeah.
Find a way to throw your weight for people too. Yeah.
You might not be a weight lifter, but find a way to
throw
your weight.
Ooh.
All right.
Catch it.
And this is
you catch it.
We threw it. Did you catch it?
I hope you caught it.
Yeah. You used to play catcher.
Oh God. That's what that be. Oh God.
And that's why when I saw my wife, I decided to catch. Can you catch up?
Oh,
you got a chip on your shoulders.
No. Just bring some fries.
Okay, yeah, just bring some fries. All right, so we're about to clean all those plates, and what we're going to be doing.
That's one.
What we're going to be doing in the final segment is a little game we play with our guests.
Okay.
Right. Just a game of wits and words.
Oh God.
So once we're back, we're going to dive right into
I'll
it.
win Pastor Dami in this one.
Yeah, obviously.
Because word of faith.
Because I'm not even participating in the game.
Oh God.
I'll see you when we're back.
Can we celebrate the amazing, the author, the singer, the mentor? Please put your hand together for 𝐕𝐈𝐃 as he comes to share with us how he also.
I'm just going to share a couple of stories. So please quickly pick up your phones, go to Instagram. Are you on Instagram already? All right, just go to this place and click it, the plus either, then slide. You're going to see stories. Some people still didn't get it.
But we know say God now, Papa, and we have the right genes in us.
Modupe, you are very rude.
You see somebody that knows something about girl. That's when they will now be take your picture and go. It's not
So I promise you that everything you touch is fire. Every beat you're on is a banger. Because every word I speak is Rema. Another.
Love is the tango of consonance and dissonance, dancing to the symphonies of life set to be in harmony.
As you just called on strike recently, some young girls are not going back to school the same. Some of them are going back to school pregnant. And now when somebody study anatomy, if you see anatomy, hey!
Good evening, 𝐕𝐈𝐃. Good evening, Pastor Toju. I've laughed. I hope I've not thrown my voice away.
Welcome back to the White Paper Podcast. My name is Damilola Oluwatoyinbo. My guest today is the amazing Angeloh. We've had a great time talking about very practical things that affect the lives of young people especially, and then believers, and just people that have a positive message and want to navigate themselves or their lives in the world. We're in the final segment. It's a lovely game we're playing. But let me remind you, you have to be at White Night this year. So buy your tickets, follow the instruction on the screen or around the video, and make sure you buy a ticket. If you can't find any link around the video, go to whitepaperwisdom.com, look for the tickets, get yours immediately. It's going to be amazing. You don't want to be told, you want to be sold. So you can see things unfold. So you get it hot when, not when it's cold. So you can be like a lion and be bold. Let's go. So there are two games I'm playing. The first one is the first one before before you write your own white paper. That's the second one. I'm going to give you some white paper posts, original, that I actually shared online. I know you follow from time to time, so there's a chance that you've seen one or two of these ones, but I'll join. There's a chance you haven't seen them. So this one is very easy, but let me just give it to you. God is not my Lucozade, but he's my
Boost.
Hey, it's very easy. Like
No, they give you. It's not want me testing the waters.
it's very easy. Life and football have this in common. The more you visit the club, the more likely you are to end up with
Ticket.
no.
Life and football. The more you visit the club, the more likely you are the more you're likely to end up. I know.
You can get it. Just try. Life and football, they have this one thing in common. The more you visit the club, the more likely you are to end up with this is your zone. Like, this is your love zone, songwriting, romance zone. The more you visit the club,
You are more like a player.
hey, seriously, it's there. You gotta dig it out.
All right.
You gotta dig it out. So this last one is a giveaway, Joe.
Find a challenging one. Let's go.
I should find one that is per tough. They give you easy ones. Let me look for one that would be like, you have to use word of knowledge to try to get it out. All right, this one is also on your tough, your neighborhood, so you should be able to get it. When people show you their true colors, don't increase warmth and vibrancy just to make them look better. Don't. Are you following? Follow the true colors. Dashing their picture doesn't change their dash. So there are two dashes. When people show you their true colors, don't increase warmth and vibrancy. You see the player, just to make them look better. Dashing their picture doesn't change their dash. So the first dash should rhyme.
We're talking of warmth and
vibrancy.
Mm-hmm.
So dashing their picture.
Shading their picture.
No.
Dashing their picture doesn't
change their dash, but focus on the first dash first.
It's not shading.
It's not shading. Think graphic design.
Tinting.
Yeah, all them are under the category of what you're actually doing.
Dashing their picture does not make them dash warmth.
Yes, vibrancy. Colors. Dashing. What do you do to pictures?
So many things I do to pictures.
Yes, but what do you call that?
Editing their pictures.
Yes.
Editing.
Edit.
Okay, where is this going? Editing their pictures
doesn't change their.
Editing their picture doesn't change.
What word rhymes with picture? Exactly.
Oh wow. That totally did not go where I thought it was going.
Doesn't that make them look better? Like,
yes,
editing the picture doesn't
yes,
make
but
them.
editing their picture doesn't make them look better.
Change.
I was looking out for too much wordplay.
Yeah, so that was challenging. Yeah, but you did great. All right, so let's close with this one. I want to use two words. Write your own original white paper. We're using two words. These two words must be there, or two groups of words. Angeloh and Love Child must be there. But just write something that witty or rhythmical or humorous or promotional. Yeah, something that captures attention.
Angeloh and Love Child must be there.
Yes. I love it. It's pretty good. All right, go for it. Read it to us. You can tell. Oh well.
So I hope this one I already to explain it, Sha. It has a personal context.
Oh.
that you are a love child does not mean you're not an angel.
Hey.
So that you are not, that you are a love child does not mean you're not an angel. So this is personal for me because my parents had me out of wedlock.
Wow.
By dictionary definition, a child out of wedlock is a love child. And so this whole love expression of me is literally me redefining that word. So even though I was born out of wedlock, it does not mean I'm not a child of love.
Yeah.
My parents' love. It does not mean I'm not a child of love,
God's love.
who is God. And so that doesn't. And even my name is funny. So it's funny. The meaning of Angelo is a Latin name. It means messenger.
Wow.
So angels are
messenger
messenger
of love.
spirits. So that's like everything else feels perfect together.
Wow. So Angelo is the name.
Angelo is my birth name. Yes.
Your birth name.
My
It's
mom
not
was
a stage
Angela.
name.
No.
Wow.
My mom was Angela. So she named me after Michelangelo because she was a painter. That was like her favorite classical painter.
See how good works, because you're a messenger of love.
It's just.
And you're now a love child, God's love child, bringing other love children into the love of God, making them children of love.
Yep. It's
Ladies and
life.
gentlemen, there's no better way to close this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
spending
me.
so much time investing, sharing your story, being vulnerable. You had a lot of vulnerable moments, right? And just giving us an insider view to your journey. It helps us appreciate the work more.
Thank you.
And guys, please stream Angelo's music. You can see that this is not about money for him, even though, yes, we also need the money. So if you want to be a blessing to him or be a part of his work and his ministry, please go ahead and do that. Follow him online. His IG handle has been on display at different parts of the podcast. So support the work, follow him on social media, and let's amplify this angelic sound of the love of God that many people need to experience. All right. Drop your comments in the comment box. Engage the content on every platform. Tell your friends about White Paper Podcast and be at White Night. Until the next episode, stay wise and stay on top. Keep navigating the streams of life with the wisdom of God and the river of His goodness on the inside of you. I'll see you in the next episode.
Please come to White Night, especially the ladies. You might find your white night.
Hey! Enter. Love it.
I've been waiting to say that so long.